Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wrestling with Laughter. Today, we're going to get into the Smackdown review. I just got done watching Smackdown, and I was excited to talk about it. And we finally get AJ Lee back in the WWE, and I'm super excited. But I'm going to go in order of the show, so I'll be talking about her later on in the video. And I'm going to do this kind of like I did my Raw review, where I'm going to go over the matches first, and then I'll go over the backstage stuff afterwards. But we're going to go ahead and start it off with John Cena starting the show, thanking the fans of Chicago. This is the last time he's going to be in Chicago, and the last time he's going to be on Smackdown. He debuted on Smackdown against Kurt Angle. We all know that. And what a way to start it off with John Cena. And then all of a sudden we get Sami Zayn out there with his newly won United States Championship. And he talks about the history they had. And it's crazy that 10 years ago that Cena had the United States Championship and was doing the Open Challenge and wanted to ask John Cena for permission to use the Open Challenge. And boy, I'm glad he did, because I think that's going to be fantastic, him doing a U.S. Open Challenge. I'm excited to see the opponents that he gets. Hopefully he gets some good ones in there. But he wanted John Cena to be his first opponent. And we get a good long match between John Cena and Sami Zayn. Now, what I am going to say is, this might be a little controversial, I don't know, but I am so sick of the finisher fest. I don't know why, but especially in John Cena's matches, they do nothing but finishers. It's a finisher fest from beginning to end. I can't tell you the last time that I've seen a match where one AA would do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I knew that John Cena wasn't going to win that United States Championship, and I knew that Sami Zayn wasn't going to pin John Cena right now. So I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know whether it would be MFT coming after Sami Zayn or if it was going to be Brock Lesnar. But we had this match, and I love the callbacks to Kurt Angle, to Edge, try to do an RKO, the pop-up powerbomb, so he called out Kevin Owens. I love that. I love that he's put that in his matches. I think it makes his matches a little bit more fun. I just hate that they're doing them like finisher fest. I don't know why that they continue to do it like that. But, you know, it's his last year, so let him do what he wants, right? But we get into where we think the finish is going to be, and all of a sudden both men are down, and out comes Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar comes to the ring, takes out the referee, then he takes out Sami Zayn, and then he hits John Cena with not one, but two F5s before he leaves the ring. Now, before I move on, when we come back, this is one of the backstage segments I'll go ahead and talk about. We got Brock Lesnar in the backstage area saying, I'll see you at WrestlePalooza, bitch. And that was it. That's all we've gotten out of this feud. We've not gotten an explanation as to why that he's targeting John Cena, why this match is even a thing. Actually, we know why it's a thing. TKO wants a big match for their ESPN opener, and what's a bigger match but John Cena and Brock Lesnar? I mean, that's a pretty big match to have on the show. I just wish they would put a little bit more effort of making a story out of it instead of it just being Brock Lesnar comes out there, beats up John Cena, and then that's it. I wish they would put a little bit more effort into it, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next match, we had Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. We had Damian Priest walking to the ring, and Aleister Black attached him from behind, and they have this, I'm just going to say it, mediocre match. It wasn't nothing to write home about. I'm not saying it was a terrible match. It's just, I hope that feud ain't going to last much longer. I hope they're both going to move on very soon. I just can't get invested in it. I don't know why. I just can't. I'm not invested in their story. I'll be honest with you. I'm more invested in Roman R-Truth versus Aleister Black than I am uh, than I am Damian Priest and Aleister Black. So, but that's the match that we got. Then you move on to the third match and the final match, which shocked me that we only got 3 matches on this card, which the John Cena and Sami Zayn match was took a while. And then we got Julia defending her Women's United States Championship finally, but it was against Meechin. I'm going to be honest with you about this. First of all, why is it just Meechin? Why is Meechin the only one that's fighting for this United States Championship? Why don't they have more? Why ain't Selena Vega out there trying to fight for it again? I don't know if she's hurt or not. I don't think she's hurt. But why don't we have more women going after this Women's United States Championship? They don't care about this title, and they proved it tonight by how long it took for them to put that title on their show, and then to give it it was maybe an 8-minute match. I mean, it wasn't a long match at all. But irregardless, Julia gets the win, and we'll see what happens from here. But I don't know. It makes me sick to my stomach what they're doing with that title and what they're doing with Julia. I think it's hurting Julia more from holding that title than it would be if she wasn't holding anything. But moving on, we got our main event. We got Seth Rollins coming out at the top of the stage, at the top of the crowd there, and cutting his promo, being a chicken heel, and then we get Becky Lynch that actually goes to the ring. But I'll back up a little bit. I just tell you right now, when I knew John Cena and Brock Lesnar segment was at the beginning of the show, and then on top of that you see Becky Lynch behind backstage, I knew that they were pretty much bringing back AJ Lee, or they're going to have Rhea Ripley won. They had to have something big planned, and they sure as heck did. But you get Becky Lynch out there talking trash, telling Chicago how bad they suck. Then you get CM Punk. CM Punk comes down to the ring, gets in the ring with Becky, tries to tell her that it's between him and Seth Rollins and all this, and she starts talking trash again, and then she ends up hitting him again. Then he gets out of the ring, but before he does, he mentions his own sister sitting in the crowd. Then he mentions Bayley, and then he mentions Rhea Ripley. But I think they kind of screwed that up a little bit, as took a little bit of the shock value out of it, just the way they had it set up, because they had him mention AJ Lee before he mentioned them people. Bayley and Rhea Ripley, that is. And so I think they kind of took a little bit of the shock out of it, a little bit. But either way, he mentions him, and then she smacks him. He gets out of the ring, and she's talking trash to him. And he told her that I tried to warn you, and that he had somebody, he would never put his hands on a woman, and that he had somebody that would. And then we got the return of AJ Lee, which, by the way, can I mention that she looks absolutely fantastic. She's in great shape, and I'm excited to see if she can still go like she used to in the ring. It kind of looks like she can, but we will see. I'm betting we're getting that match at WrestlePalooza, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm just excited to see her back. And see, I hope she sticks around for a little while. I hope she has some singles matches as well. I'd like to see her and Becky Lynch in a singles match. I'd like to see her and Roxanne Perez. I'd like to see her and Julia. Her and Io Sky. I could go on with the names that I would like to see her with. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the backstage segments that I didn't mention. And we're going to start off with the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre They were going back and forth. If I caught it right, they're having a match next week on SmackDown. I thought they would have a match at WrestlePalooza, but if you looked at my match card prediction for WrestlePalooza, I had them on there. But it looks like we're going to have it on SmackDown. They may have Cody Rhodes come back sooner than what I thought they would. And if they do, they're probably going to have Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes at WrestlePalooza instead of Randy Orton. But we will see what happens next week. And but they are trying to make this a big deal. I believe the WrestlePalooza card, they're trying to make it as big as possible. So they'll probably have their WWE champion come back. But we had that one, and then we had Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. Next week, we're going to have a Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton title match, women's title match. I think what's going to happen is I think Nia Jax is going to interfere in that match, causing a disqualification in the match. And I believe that it's going to set up a triple threat, like what's in my predictions, match card predictions for WrestlePalooza. I think it's going to set up a triple threat match between them three at WrestlePalooza. Now, moving on to the last backstage segment that we had was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte Flair with her ankle hurt, and they're going after Chelsea Green and her faction, and waiting on Charlotte to get cleared. I see her getting cleared probably next week. And we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I'm excited to see what that faction does and how Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair handle it. So we shall see. But that's all we had on this Friday Night SmackDown. Besides having AJ Lee return and Brock Lesnar come in to interfere in John Cena's match, we didn't really have much going on the show. I mean, just out of the AJ Lee stuff alone, you would rate it pretty high up there. But, I mean, the Aleister Black match and Aleister Black and Damian Priest match wasn't the best in the world, and don't even get me started on Julia and Meechin. I just don't know what they're thinking. SmackDown used to be the go-to show for me, and it's getting more and more to be Raw. And on top of it, you took John Cena off SmackDown, and his appearance is going to be on Raw now. So I'm pushing more towards Raw than I am SmackDown. But I'm going to watch them both, and I'm going to continue to give reviews on both. So if you like the video, please leave me a subscribe and like the video itself. Comment and tell me what you thought of the show. Tell me what you thought about AJ Lee returning and the whole setup with Brock Lesnar and John Cena, and what you think might happen leading forward out of this. I love interacting. If you wanna comment, I will try my best to interact with everyone who comments. But if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you. And we'll be coming out with a video soon. I don't know if I'm gonna make a tier list or another quiz video yet, but it will be up not too long after this video goes up. So again, thank you guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.